believe Buffalo is going to win it, folks.
Kick your heels up and down.
We're seeing why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now, baby. Come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
All right. We are live. We are live. We are live. And we are back. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. Shout out to everybody who's going to watch the replay. I'm sure it's a lot of y'all going to watch the replay. I know a few of y'all at work right now just getting off, maybe in that little Buffalo traffic. But you know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all good. We appreciate everybody who's on. If you are on, just to start it off, I'm going to tell you a few times. Like and share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click that bell, bing, right at the bottom of the screen. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get our followers up, we out here. But we're excited today. We're super excited because football is back, man. Had a football game, Hall of Fame game last week. It was terrible. It was god-awful. But, it was football. But I'm excited to talk the Buffalo Bills today. And I have our trusty guy, my guy, Matt, a.k.a. Matty Ice, a.k.a. All Black Matt. Matt, what up with you?
Not much, man. Just getting out of work myself, getting ready to talk some football. We did see the Steelers. We're playing them week 1. They got to see them first, and got excited to have some Bills football coming up.
Absolutely. And to the bottom of the screen, you see him, our guy Mills, a.k.a. No Shave, a.k.a. Chris Cross. Mills, what's up?
Those names are new to me, but what's going on, man? I'm just excited to be here with y'all boys, man.
Absolutely. They might be new, but they spot on. We appreciate all of you who are with us again, like and share. And we got a few things we have to get to. Let's do some house cleaning. Matt, please let the people know. Let the people know who this show is sponsored by.
Yeah, so this podcast is brought to you by none other than Buffalo Wing Kings. Being from Buffalo, there's 2 things that the guys at OBP know. That's Buffalo Bills football, and that's chicken wings. Our first choice and the best choice is Buffalo Wing Kings. At Wing Kings, it's Wings 101. With over 101 different flavors and the beloved Wing of the Month special, Wing Kings is sure to school any other place around. Stop by there to you get all your party needs, your game needs, wherever you want to go get chicken wings, whenever you're just feeling it on a casual Monday night after work, go check them out. They're opening up a new location, I'm told, by football season, or maybe running into football season, in the University District on Main Street. So look out for that. But for now, you could check them out at 484 Elmwood Avenue, or give them a call at 716-248-1427 and find out why they say, and we know, that they got the best wings around, hands down.
Absolutely.
Raw, Matt.
Yeah, for sure.
Raw, Matt.
Thank you, Matt, for that, pre-roll. Shout out to Wing Kings, the vibes. Brought to you by, sponsored by, empowered by, So listen.
And make sure you drop our names and get that trusty 10% off when you go in there, man. Wing prices are crazy. They're trying to show some love.
Absolutely. Please drop that, overdue bills. You know the vibes. All right, let's do this real quickly. You see the merch. All right, Hit us up for the merch. We got the preseason game coming up on Friday. I know y'all need merch coming up for the season. Hit us up. I know it's a little hot for these hoodies, but we got crew necks. We got T-shirts. Ante got the shirt right there. We got all different colors, shapes, and sizes. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we know y'all need the Bills gear, so just hit us up. Let us know what time it is, all right? And let's do this too. Our guy, trusty guy, our senior editor-in-chief, Mike Daniels, just released the article breaking down Josh Allen contract. You know the vibes. So listen. Please, man, please, sir, go check that out on overduebillspod.com. overduebillspod.com. All right? So let's get into the show. Real quickly. Quick question of the day. We're back, y'all. I know y'all was waiting for it. I just brought it back. You know what I mean? I brought it back. Quick question of the day. And we're talking about roster construction. And we're going to have another question following this. But I wanted to ask these guys, especially with this 53-man roster and with the hard cap we have in the NFL, I wanted to ask Matt and Mills, and I'm going to go to Matt first. What side of the ball, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams, do you kind of prioritize when you're doing this 53-man roster? Like when you're making cuts, if you are Brandon Beane, if you are Sean McDermott, what are you actually, prioritizing? Is it like, okay, I'm looking at offense mainly to get my roster? Like if it's that 52, 53 man, it may be an offensive lineman, or you know what I'm saying? Like what side of the ball are you most focused on when we're talking about a 53-man roster?
I'm going to go with the defense. The tail of the tape last year, there's no blame on the defense, but, our offense kind of, went guns a-blazing usually. In the defense, they had trouble getting to the quarterback, and we had, depth issues at corner. So, I'm looking at just loading up the defense, man.
Mills, where you lie on that? Are you offense, defense, special teams? Where you at?
I'm 100% not special teams. Wow. And I'll tell you why. I'm not special teams because, don't get me wrong, special teams is a very, very important part of the game. But for the most part, we all know most players know the fundamentals of tackling and blocking. So as long as you can get down the field, and stay in your lane on a kickoff team, you should be able to make a stop. And on a return team, you kind of put your skilled players back there. Was normally, the second or third string running back, or if you got just like explosive player, you throw them back there. So when you're working on focusing on that defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, you can use those second and third string players and just throw them on special teams. So I'm definitely not going to say special teams, but I'll go offense, man. Like Mike, like our writer Mike says in some of his articles, we are a passing team. In order to win games, you got to put up numbers. Because everybody has that same mindset. Quarterback is the center of the team. You expect them to give you, 20, 30, 40 points a game. And we got to be able to do that as well. Because some nights, our defense may not be able to hold, certain quarterbacks, to a couple of touchdowns. So we got to be able to bounce back and put up 40, 50 points a game as well. So I'm going to say the offensive side of the ball.
I'm glad Matt went with defense. Mills was strongly opposing the special teams. And what's funny about that is our trusted guy, Brandon Beane, our general manager, our head man in charge, is actually diametrically opposed to what Mills just said. And if you in the comments, let me know how you feel about it, about the 53-man roster and what side of the ball you prioritize, because Brandon Beane was asked this question today. The importance of special teams when you're talking about roster construction and a 53-man roster. And he said out of his mouth, and this is not like verbatim, but he said to the tune of special teams is very important. He talked about Andre Roberts and how we really wanted to resign him and how important he was to our team. And then he brought up a name, Tywan Jones, you know what I mean? A running back who's an elite gunner he spoke about. And we re-signed him in March. We brought him back strictly for special teams. It's not like he was getting a lot of carries. And Brandon Beane, when you're talking about this 53-man roster, he's leaning heavily towards special teams and how important that is when you're bringing together this roster. Matt, you got something to say?
Well, yeah, I think if you talk to any older Bills fan too, they would tell you special teams is very important. We had a guy who we want to see in the Hall of Fame every year, who was a special teams ace in Steve Tasker. You know what I mean? Not only was he a pretty good receiver, but he was a special teams monster. And then we have our everybody has kind of like a phrase when something goes wrong, the wide right? That's a big kicker is a huge deal. It's usually the leading scorer on the team is the kicker. So that special teams are definitely important. And there's some guys who wouldn't make the team unless it was for special teams. So like guys that you mentioned, like Tywan Jones, and then, a guy that I love to bring up is my boy Tyler Matakevich. He was still the leader in special teams tackles last year in our season. So they're key additions for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if you got those key players that definitely make an impact, on special teams, you definitely want to keep them players around because they're hungry.
Yeah.
So special teams is something that you don't really get the opportunity to get on the field that often. So you want to do whatever you can to make a name for yourself, so you can be a player that can be on the second string defense and work your way up to first D, or second O and work your way to first O. So I mean, don't get me wrong, special team players are definitely important, because those are the hungry players that's willing to do whatever it takes, to get a starting position.
Absolutely, absolutely, and even a guy we're going to talk about and later in this show is Isaiah McKenzie. Like he's on that teeter-totter. I mean, he had some offensive plays last year, but he's going to make his bones on the special team side. In fact, Brandon Beane even said we kept Andre Roberts because we wasn't sure that Isaiah McKenzie could secure the ball. I mean, and that's the biggest thing on punt returns and kickoff returns and things like that. But that just goes to show you, where our general manager and where these guys, are thinking. Sometimes they're not thinking the way we are thinking. But moving right along, we got to get to this Josh Allen contract. It was some of the biggest news, throughout the weekend. Buffalo Bills fanatics have been talking about this deal, since it has happened. And it's a huge contract. It's a huge contract. Shout out to Josh Allen. He got the bag. Shout out to him. You see it there up on the screen. So he's the first NFL player to sign over $100 million guaranteed. And when you look at the breakdown, he's really making more guaranteed money than any other player. I think it was about $9 million over the next player under him, which is another quarterback. And some suggest that it may be a team-friendly deal. Even though he got a lot of this money, it's a 6-year contract if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
which is a long-term deal. So
6-year extension. He's actually adding on to his last 2 years. So he's here for another 8. Yeah.
So I mean, we got him locked up. He's clearly our quarterback for the future. So Matt, let me just go to you. How do you feel about this contract, man?
I like it a lot. I mean, I know Mike, our senior writer, he wanted to call me out immediately when I was talking about it in the group. Saying he would take a home discount. In my eyes, when the number is glaring, right? The guaranteed money is glaring. But in my eyes, I think he still took a very team-friendly, very, very homer type of deal. Kind of like I mentioned how, Brady's still doing it with the Bucs. He restructured $19 million of his money this year to keep certain guys. I think that his contract is loaded in the back end and has a lot of options and stuff like that to be able to, mess around with it, which is and even Josh Allen talked about it in the press conference. It's something that it's very rare when both teams walk away really happy with the deal, or both sides walk away really happy with the deal. And that is what I'm taking from it.
Right. Mills, how do you feel about it?
It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
150 guaranteed. That's what NFL highest paid quarterback guaranteed money in NFL history. I mean, that speaks a lot. When you get down to the breakdown and stuff, it's a lot to know, a lot to learn. I'm pretty sure we all, I have some questionable, things about it, some things we don't understand and stuff like that. But for the most part, you pay who you think is your person. And we feel that Josh Allen is the person for us, our franchise quarterback, and our coaching staff, our management staff and everything. They have high hopes for this player. And if you feel a certain way about somebody, you feel that they're the one, you pay them. Going to be high expectations for Josh. He's just not a normal quarterback anymore. You are considered an elite quarterback. You're getting paid elite money.
Yeah. So
the expectations are going to be higher. He's going to definitely have to be, not saying he's not a leader now, but he has to take that leadership role to another step. And he has to prove, the fans, his coaching teammates, that he's worthy of what we pay him. And I'm just looking forward to see, what he does this season and, going down the line. That's Super Bowl money. So we got to be going to the Super Bowl sometime soon. That's Super Bowl money. No,
that's a fact. And he is worth the money right now, but the tail of the tape is going to be consistency for the rest of, his days here. Right. So hopefully we end up making out on it. Hopefully we're underpaying him for how he performs coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, and the reality is if Josh Allen plays great, then he's going to get another contract, right? They're going to rip this one up and they're going to extend him for more money. I mean, that's just what you do. You get paid for what you do. That's the only good thing about the NFL. In most situations, the great GMs, they pay for not what you did, but what you're. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing for me right now? So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully Josh Allen. I want Josh Allen to get more contracts. If he get more contracts, that means he's playing well. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to him for getting the bag. You know, we knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
but
he's definitely at that point where he can't. He has to put the Bills on. Not gonna say by himself, but he's in that position now where you can't complain about the players around you. I don't got a tight end. I got a wide receiver. You got to be that quarterback to make your surrounding players better.
No, right. I'll say we still may need a tight end, but you're absolutely right. I mean, and Brandon Beane has done an amazing job to get talent around him, right? Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and just Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis. Let's see what the running backs do, and we have a great offensive line. And speaking of that, let's go into these, this camp battle. Positional battles and standouts in training camp. This is a 10th practice and training camp. We got pads on. A lot of the beat reporters said today was a transitional day. We're getting ready for our preseason opener, and we're going to talk, heavily about that in just a few seconds. But I just want to say shout out to Deion Dawkins. He just came to practice today. It was a sight, to see. We're glad that he's back, from COVID. Hopefully everything is okay. But if we're going to get into nitty gritty, what I heard today, and I was listening to a couple of beat reporters. I heard today, just specifically today, and we're going to talk about, a few things, but they said Star looked good, and we're happy, about that. Star coming back into the fold. We understood what he meant for our team because last year we didn't have that person, taking on 2-3 blocks, whatever the case might be. They say Star looked good today, but they said that the offense was humming, which should be the case. But they said our cornerbacks wasn't. He said it was a bad day for our cornerbacks. And I want to start there. And I'm going to throw it to Matt because, we have a guy in Levi Wallace who we are looking to step up. But some say that it is a positional battle with Dane Jackson, right? But there's a few things I'm hearing that he may not be consistent. He's maybe a little bit inconsistent. But, Matt, let me throw it to you. I don't know if you've been hearing anything or watching anything, but how do you feel about that positional battle?
Well, it's also tough to gauge too because we not only they're in a big positional battle, but they're going against the best players in the top 5 players in the league. You got 2 All-Pro guys that you have to cover every day,
right?
You know what I mean? That so if they're making you look if they're making you look a little bad, I don't know what kind of leeway we can throw them. There's not too much because obviously they're going to face guys week in and week out. But, it's very tough to say in that particular position because of who they're covering. So, if they have a bad day at practice one day or, guys are making a little bit of catches on them, they're also all pro players. So it's kind of where do you draw that line? Are they putting up good coverage or are they just getting super burnt? And, they're putting up good coverage that are just turning into really good offensive plays or are they getting smoked up? And that's kind of where I can't really call it on that just because of who they're going up against every day.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, it's like when you look at it, we play the Pittsburgh Steelers the first game of the season, right? I mean, we're talking Juju Smith-Schuster. We're talking Deontay Johnson. You know what I'm saying? And Najee Harris, you know what I mean? Somebody got to guard him out the back. I mean, it's not like we're playing some scrubs. I mean, that's just the first game. So it's like we're going to get some top-tier receivers. So, I mean, they have to show us something. But, I mean, that's going to work itself out. What I'm hearing is that Levi Wallace is not necessarily wowing people, but he is keeping the job of that.
That's right. I mean, like even last year, he wasn't really wowing people, but I mean, his numbers really weren't bad in one-on-one coverage, and they also have help over the top, and probably 2 of the best safeties in the game. So that's another variable in that point of it.
Absolutely.
But he's definitely. I don't think Levi's not a flashy guy. He's not going to be Trey and freaking do all the dancing and be the spotlight guy, but I think he'll be able to bring his lunch pail and go to work when it's really time to get into it.
For sure. And I'm gonna go to Mills because I want to switch it to the opposite side. Matt talked about the premier receivers we have on the other side, and we know Stephon Diggs, we know Cole Beasley, right, and we know Emmanuel Sanders, we know what he pretty much can and cannot do, but we had a breakout in Gabe Davis, right? But we also have Jake Kumerow, Isaiah Hodges. I mean, it's a lot of receivers on the list. Mills, can I ask you this? Like, are you looking for Gabe Davis to kind of ascend and remove himself from the pack Is that really what you're looking for, or do you think like a sleeper like a Jake Kumaro was gonna kind of weave his way in there? How do you feel about that positional battle?
They said Kumaro been looking real nice. Practices and training camp and everything like that. His footwork, his catching ability, and his the way he's separating for the defender. They say he looked real good. But Gabe Davis, man, he played good. I'm not gonna say he played great because we didn't really see much of him last season, but he had a good year. And
I mean, he's our leading touchdown receiver. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but I'm saying like his snaps weren't that high.
No,
but, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give him that great card yet because I mean, like I said, it's always room for improvement and stuff like that. They say he's been improving as well. So I mean, it's good to see where he's going to come into play this season, especially with us getting Emmanuel Sanders over there. So that kind of takes away another wide receiver spot because we know that what Emmanuel Sanders is capable of doing, the high end of Emmanuel Sanders, but everybody has a low end as well. But I think Gabe had the opportunity these next upcoming preseason games. I see him getting a lot of snaps just because we know he's not a shoo-in, out there on the field. We know Beasley and Stephon Diggs are definitely guaranteed, those starting roles unless something happens, So I think Gabe would get the opportunity. Kumaro would get the opportunity. Mckenzie, all them boys would get the opportunity in a couple of preseason games to see what they're really capable of doing. And in the preseason is a whole different ball game because Gabe becomes that number one receiver because he already has that chemistry with Josh Allen and typically the normal backup. But we got Trubisky back there now, so I'm pretty sure he's getting more reps with Trubisky than everybody else. So I think that our expectations should be higher for Gabe compared to everybody else, and I think that he'll live up to the hype. That's Matt Boyd, so I mean he's a big target.
Definitely,
he can catch, he can run routes, and he's not scared to take a hit. I watched that a couple of games last year, so hopefully he have a breakout season, and we see what he's able to do out there.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, like receivers I'm gonna do a prediction for the 53 in the next couple of weeks. Look out for that
for sure.
But the receiver is 100% going to be the hardest position to cut. Because you can keep all of them. I mean, we got with guys like Kumaro they're making a name every single day. It seems like they're a highlight in the headlines of training camp every day. But then you got a guy in Isaiah Mckenzie who Brian Dable raves about all the time. And he'll probably end up getting the special team. Like he'll stay on as a special teamer, so it'll open up another spot maybe for a receiver, kind of how Andre Roberts did the past few years.
And
we got Duke back too, right? Duke Williams. I mean, he had a good. I mean, played a little bit, but yeah, I think he's capable of being a good player too if he get some time out there. But man, it's definitely some boys to pick from.
It's a tough position to cut for sure.
I think he's waiver wire fodder. But no, seriously, Isaiah McKenzie, right, and that's what all the beat reporters are saying. Like he probably shored up the special teams role. Like they can trust him. They say Marquez Stevenson, the other wide receiver, they just can't trust him. He's not reliable at this current time. So I mean, Isaiah McKenzie will have a role on his team. But hopefully, maybe offensively, maybe we can get him some scat stuff. He's our speedster. So, we'll see what Brian Dable has up his sleeve. Shout out to you, Brad Smith. We're definitely black. Please like and share. If you're in the comments, let us know, who you are and where you from, where you coming from. Let us know. Listen, we back. We about to get the show rolling because we got a preseason game this Friday, August the 13th at 7 o'clock in Detroit. Shout out to our senior editor-in-chief, Mike Daniels, will be on the scene. Listen, to any Buffalo Bills, Brandon Beane, Pagula, anybody, let my man get a pass. I don't understand why Mike doesn't have a press pass yet. He's been producing content at a high clip. If anybody's out there who is in charge of press passes, Mike Daniels, our senior editor-in-chief, needs it. So if you out there, if you're a Bills fan, if you're an Overdue Bills Pod fan, and you know a man that know a man that know a man, or if you know a woman that know a woman that know a woman, let them know our guy Mike Daniels, he need that press pass. But before we
hold his mail, y'all good. I'm gonna hold his mail. He ain't gonna get no mail till you get back to us, man. No mail for the Pagulas, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can say that. He didn't say that on air, but
No, nobody heard that. But listen, we go into this preseason preview. This is what y'all wanted to see. But before we do, Matt, let them know who is sponsoring this preseason preview.
This preseason preview is brought to you by none other than Buffalo Pet Supply. Do you have a pet? Are you looking into getting a pet or know somebody who has a pet? Then there's only one place to send them, for everything they need to make that pet live its best life. Buffalo Pet Supply, specializing in fish, small animals, and reptiles. The knowledgeable staff at Buffalo Pet Supply can get you set up or maintain whatever setup you have. Stop down and see the family-owned and operated business over at 1345 Military Road in Kenmore, or give them a call at 716-874-1951. And again, you mention our name, the Overdue Bills, you get 10% off your whole order. Check them out now.
Shout out to Buffalo Pet Supply for sponsoring this preseason opener. And definitely, man, off the record. That is definitely off the record. But let's do this. Let's do it because we know this is the first preseason game. I'm sure Josh Allen, the first team, will get maybe a series. Hopefully, they can get down there and score, or maybe 2 series. I don't know, what McDermott or Brian Dable,
last year they played like a whole quarter.
It's possible, but also you got to think.
I'll be okay if they didn't.
Last year, Josh Allen did not. We just didn't pay him $100 million. So I mean, it's totally different. So we'll see how long they're on the field. But let me ask you guys this. So, like, what are we looking for? Like, when we're going to these preseason games, we understand we're going to see a lot of the backup. So, what are we looking for, and who are we looking for? Or specifically to you. And if you're in the comments, let us know who you keying on. Are you keying on the first-round picks that we have, Basham? You know what I'm saying? Are you keying on that defensive end? Or are you keying on our running backs to see if they can get something going? Matt, I'm going to throw it to you. What are you looking for, and who exactly are you looking for in this particular preseason game?
Yeah, so you just named it. I'm looking at Devin Singletary, man.
Wow.
All the hype throughout the offseason. He worked with Dalvin Cook's trainer. Got quicker, faster. He got weight. He hit the weight room. He's looking good. He's looking good in shorts, as they say. You know what I'm saying? So. So I'm ready to see if he's going to be the guy to make. I'm ready to see if he's going to make the jump. It's going to be a little bit tough to gauge now, just because we haven't had an offensive line, our complete offensive line this whole camp, just kind of like last year. So they're kind of a put together bunch, even though they played together before. It's a little different. So I'm ready to see though if he's ready to be that back who makes the separation and makes the leap from his first couple of years.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: are you keying on the rookies? Is that what kind of you looking for? Or are you seeing how, some of the team drills or certain schemes that we're kind of running? I understand who you told me who, but what exactly kind of are you, you know what I'm saying? What are you keying on?
I definitely also we flip over to the other side of the ball, the rookies, definitely. I mean, that like we said, there was our number one issue last year. Not really. We were pressuring the quarterback, but we weren't getting home.
Right.
And, guys like Mario Addison, and he mentioned, they came into last year and they weren't really conditioned before. Now they kind of got their legs back. Right. And you throw in these young guys who could play more snaps for them. I think it'll be really interesting to see how they do with the fresh legs and the reps.
Mills, and even in the comments, shout out to Dave Coaster. He said he want to see what the pass rush looks like. Absolutely. I want to see that too. So, Mills, let me ask you this. Who are you looking for? And what exactly are you looking for?
I'm looking for Emmanuel Sanders, man.
Wow.
He might not play, though. He might not play.
I heard that, too. I heard that, too.
I bet he was out today with a foot thing, and he's not looking like he's going to go tomorrow either. So, my bad.
Yeah, I heard that, too. But he was definitely one of the people I was looking forward to see. Just to see, because they say he looked good out there. That's what I hear. They say he looked real good out there. He looked like his old self, yep. Denver Bronco days, Emmanuel Sanders. And if we got that Emmanuel Sanders, man, I tell you something, man. We can compete for one of the best receiving corps in the league if we got that Emmanuel Sanders. But defensively, we had a solid season last year. And I can only see us getting a little better, especially with the coaching staff coming back. We can keep players back. But like everybody's been saying, the pass rush, very, very important, especially because we rotate a lot of people in our front four. So to see a lot of, these active players being able to get out there and get pressure on the quarterback, it would speak a lot, because you can throw anybody in there at any given moment, fresh bodies, and still be able to put pressure on the opposing quarterback. But I really, really want to see how we do on our first two downs, offense, first and second down. How many yards we can gain, with our play call and everything like that. Our play calling has been great, but the thing is, can we execute? And that's just not just with the first team O, but that's what the second team owe as well. I want to see if they're able, to move the ball first and second downs. Because if we can move the ball and we can control the game, speed the game up a little bit, especially when we playing those high-power offensive teams, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, teams like that, we can compete because we can get the ball down the field, in less than 2 minutes, less than 3 minutes and stuff like that. So I'm looking to see if we can move the ball on the first two downs. So we won't put ourselves in a situation where we got a third and long and we got to throw a 7 or 8 yard, pass in order to get a first down. We have to punt the ball. So I'm looking at our offense on our first two downs on the possessions.
Absolutely. I'm excited this Friday, man. Like I'm definitely anticipating this game. I just want to see it all. I want to see how McDermott is, kind of coach these guys up. I know they're, practicing in this heat, very hot week. So I just want to see how they come off that. It's a little bit of adversity. I know that it was a little sluggish practice today, according to the beat writers, but I just want to see how he can coach them up and get them ready for this game come Friday. But I know y'all want us to do the over-under segment. We're not going to do it. But I am going to say this for those of you who may partake in these things. We are projected to win. We up 2.5. They got us minus 2.5. They got the over/under at 36. I may be slamming the under. I don't know. It's just may or may not be.
Well, speaking from a true degenerate, if you're betting on preseason football, that's the issue, man.
Listen. I was at work today, and listen, I'm not gonna lie. We might have had a parlay or two put together on preseason football. I don't know. That's not for this show, but we may or may not have had a 6-leg preseason football parlay. It's just crazy, man. It got a little crazy out there. But shout out to all y'all, man. Make sure y'all. Oh, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Overdue Bills Pod. We love everybody. Shout out. You see Brad Smith in the comments. Make sure y'all tune in to Fan Cave Sports Talk tomorrow night. Doesn't interfere with any Overdue Bills. So shout out to Brad. What'd you say, Matt?
Nah, the man's on every day. He's working, man.
Absolutely, he's definitely working out here. But let me do this real quickly. Let me get your prediction, Matt, for the game. What's the score?
My score is gonna be 21-6 Bills.
Starting early, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mills, what's your prediction?
I was 31 last year.
Yeah.
I was 31. If we had the full offense in all game, I would have went a little higher.
I got Bills losing 23-17.
Oh my God.
I think Trubisky is going to have a bad day.
Mills, if you honestly think that the Detroit Lions is going to score 23 points, then everybody needs to be fired. The Buffalo Bills. I got a low scoring game, 14-3. I think the Bills should score the first touchdown on the first series.
Yeah.
And then I'm praying Mitchell Trubisky can just fall into the end zone, but who knows? But you listen, we're excited for this upcoming season. We're excited for Friday. We definitely got some great interviews about come on your way. Listen, go to Overdue Bills Pod. Shout out to our senior editor-in-chief, Mike Daniels. He just dropped an article today. The vibes. And also, we got the merch. T-shirts, crew necks, hoodies, everything. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So please hit us up on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just hit us up, any platform, we can get it to you. We run the post office. You heard it off the record. We may be holding Pagula's mail, please don't tell anybody. But y'all boys got anything else to say?
No, man, I'm just excited, man. And shout out to everybody who was wearing your gear to the blue and red game the other day. We saw some pictures. We love seeing that stuff. If you post yourself in that merch all the time, man. We love seeing it. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Shout out to everybody, and we end every show with a little bit of hey.